Hello, I'm Bill Bullard with RCAF USA, the voice of the independent cattle producer in the United States of America. Well, the over 100-year-old Packers and Stockyards Act is a different kind of anti-monopoly law. It's separate and apart from our nation's antitrust laws, like the Sherman and Clayton Acts. One principal difference is how they are administered and enforced. You see, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, is charged with administering the Packers and Stockyards Act, and it has the administrative authority to issue fines for wrongdoing. But that's not true with antitrust laws. They must be enforced in the U.S. court system, meaning the Department of Justice must file a lawsuit to enforce either the Sherman or Clayton Acts. Now, unknown to many is the fact that every state attorney's general office shares the authorization granted to the Department of Justice to enforce national antitrust laws. That means that state attorneys general have the potential to have a significant impact on cattle market competition by investigating and bringing actions against the concentrated beef packers for any antitrust violations. But there's one huge problem. Most state attorneys general offices lack the financial resources to even engage in antitrust enforcement. This lack of resources is a perennial limitation on what states can do. So how do I know this? Well, I know this because 16 state attorneys general sent a letter to USDA in December asking the USDA to appropriate money from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 for a grant that would enable their states to engage in investigations and litigation to preserve and protect competition in livestock markets. But their letter to USDA said much more. The 16 attorneys general made clear that of all the reforms that can be made in livestock markets, none are a substitute for maintaining a vibrant and open cash market. And they made this important point, that nearly 2 decades ago, Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa introduced a similar bill as his current 5014 bill, which is now Senate Bill 949. But the earlier bill was intended to mandate minimum cash purchases in the pork industry, and it was never enacted. And now the attorneys general say a pork cash market is virtually non-existent. And then they said this: pork markets have quickly moved the direction of chicken markets, with producers being at the mercy of the processors. This move towards alternative marketing arrangements, or AMAs, significantly reduced the number of independent producers who are dependent on a cash market. And now, the monopoly power and captive supply of pork processors allow them to provide take-it-or-leave-it pricing and contract terms to farmers, who, without a robust cash market to rely upon, lose all means of leverage over the packers. Now, this is a dire warning to the U.S. cattle industry by 16 state antitrust regulators. They warn that if the U.S. cattle industry does not divorce itself from its current honeymoon with alternative marketing arrangements, it will soon lose even more independent cattle producers. And those who are left will survive only if they accept whatever take-it-or-leave-it prices and contract terms the dominant corporate packers want to offer. This is a wake-up call for the entire cattle industry. These attorneys general made clear that the key factors that now threaten independent producer profitability and result in fewer independent producers are: number one, increased packer concentration; number two, the thinning of the competitive cash market; and number three, the increase in alternative marketing arrangements, or AMAs. That's right. The very AMAs that leading agricultural economists, corporate beef packers, nearly the entire beef lobby, and many leaders in Congress are touting as the best thing since sliced bread are in fact the corporate beef packers' go-to instrument for destroying the U.S. cattle industry as we know it today. The attorneys general said one of the most notable effects of market power in the livestock markets is that packers have introduced and promoted AMAs, which are nothing but exclusive contracts that create captive supply chains. These AMAs deplete packer demand in cash markets, which suppress prices and makes producers more beholden to the packers. The message is clear. We must do everything possible to preserve a robust cash market, or it's game over. That means that Senator Grassley's 5014 bill, Senate Bill 949, is the most effective legislation yet introduced to ensure the integrity of the cash market. And from our vantage point, it also means we should accept no watered-down compromise, such as the later introduced Fisher-Grassley bill, that doesn't direct anyone to increase the volume of cattle procured in the cash market from the level it's been at during the past 18 months. It's time to end the honeymoon with AMAs, with alternative marketing arrangements, and to demand that Congress pass the 5014 bill, Senate Bill 949, as quickly as possible. So please contact both of your senators today and tell them to pass Senate Bill 949 as quickly as possible. And go to labelrbeef.com to learn more. With that, have a productive week. Thank you and goodbye.